Arimath here with my first gameplay impressions of Sigma, the newest Overwatch hero. I got to vandalize some bases, go in there with little gravity balls and knock them around, hit them with this rock and knock them down, which is a lot of fun. And that portable shield can make for some really cool clutch moments. That absorption ability has to get a lot of shields can also be very useful. My first match with them, actually, this little clip here was where I earned play of the game, which is a nice little, nice little boost for playing the guy for the first time. Ultimate, I'm still getting used to, but still pretty cool. And gotta punish that Bastion. Gravity balls seem to do some very decent damage, and you don't have to reload. I love that. So always in it for a tank that can get in the middle of things and dish out some damage. And mitigate some damage pretty well in those moments. There's me soaking up some Bastion bullets with his absorption ability, and just trying to delay at this choke point. And then I'm gonna get shot in the head by Widow. Snipers my biggest weakness for sure, but still to get past it here and trying to control a small point. Where they have to pass through if I can. Moiras seem to cut through this guy pretty well, at least in my couple of matches that I have with him. But through that absorption to give you shields, through his portable shield, he's able to kind of fill in some small gaps where he can. And of course, I had some friends here and using the Batista. You don't die very, very well. That kept us in pretty good shape that match. And then we got rolled. This one we did pretty well. Again, controlling a small space, absorbing damage where I could, utilizing the barrier where I can. This made for some pretty tight moments, and I didn't die a whole lot, which is probably a pretty good indication of a great tank or really, really good healers or really good Baptiste that keeps you from dying. So. Definitely had some fun. And here, just trying to stop damage from happening where I can and dish out as much damage as possible. I haven't got down the precision of his the gravity balls or the rocks. The rocks have a lobbing sort of effect to them, so you can it's like a toss. It's also really great for just stunning and knocking people out of their ultimates. So imagine we'll get used to it as time goes on, but I can definitely see Sigma getting into the rotation, at least for me. Now, some weaknesses. Always that one guy that ice blocks you when you're trying to do something, or puts an ice wall in front of you. Sigma, I think, can get old, and there are situations where he just isn't fun. If you don't have good healers, I mean, that's never fun, right? But if he seems to be good for getting in the thick of things, and if you don't have good support, you're going to die that much faster. And I noticed that that happened a few times. Also, his abilities are kind of situational, and have to be fun in that situation. Being able to absorb a lot of attacks to get shields relies on people attacking a lot. His barrier is nearly always useful, but his big rock thing can be kind of hard to control, and you can do that over and over again. And I guess all of that can get kind of old. It's not like Hammond where I can find new places on the map and just start swinging around and knock people over or get in kind of behind them. Sigma seems fairly stationary, at least so far for me. This is where Widow is trying to snipe from that platform. You just throw a little shield up, and that kind of stops that from happening. So notice that was pretty useful. And corners can be very helpful when using this guy's shield and ducking and dodging behind obstructions. Obviously, his ability to stop damage is what I used, I think, to the greatest effect, and then just dishing out damage with the gravity balls. I can't say anything remarkable about his ultimate yet. I mean, yeah, he gets to fly with it, which I'm certainly going to play with. and you know that it does a lot of damage, or does decent damage to a whole area, pretty good. But mostly when people are clumped together, which is not always the case, right? And here you're seeing me just bobbing and weaving behind obstructions, trying to use my shield in tandem with the other shields that are popping up here, and we're doing a pretty good job of controlling the space, which it feels like he just kind of fits into that mold. I mean, he's a tank, of course he's supposed to do that, but there's different specializations, right? Hammond, I've found, is super mobile, can get around and disrupt. D.Va is also pretty darn mobile. This guy, not very mobile, right? He's not Reinhardt exactly, but he's kind of that sort of mobility. You don't have a lot of you're not moving a lot of places. His ultimate can have you fly a little bit, but mostly he's floating wherever he's going, right? So he's fairly stationary. He works well on the maps that these kind of games where you're trying to hold a point, as opposed to maybe the A and B, where you're trying to charge into or the payload maps. I found him to be most fun on these ones. So we're going to play him a little bit more. I hope you enjoyed some of this gameplay here. I know that I enjoyed these matches. As always, take it easy.